Good morning, grade 4. Welcome back to the English class. How are you all doing today? So, have you all heard about the great king Alexander? Alexander was the king of Macedonia, an ancient Greek kingdom. So, today we are going to learn a story about this great king Alexander and his beautiful horse Bucephalus. So, all of you please turn to page number 51 in your English workbook. Let's read chapter 8. Alexander and Bucephalus. So this is the story of Alexander, one of the greatest kings in the world, and how he met his horse called Bucephalus. So let's read the story. One day, King Philip bought a fine horse called Bucephalus. He was a noble animal and the king paid a very high price for him. However, he was wild and savage and no man could mount him or do anything at all with him. At last, the king asked his helpers to take him away. So, King Philip was the king of Macedonia and he was Alexander's father. So, one day, King Philip bought this beautiful black stallion called Bucephalus at a very high price and brought him to the palace. But Bucephalus appeared to be wild and savage. Savage means he appeared so harsh and violent. He would not let anyone near him. So no one could mount him. So at last, the king got fed up with him and asked his helpers to take Bucephalus away from the palace. Let's see what happened then. It is a pity to send away so fine a horse as that, said Alexander, the king's young son. Those men do not know how to treat him. So, hearing about the king's decision to send away Bucephalus, King Philip's young son Alexander told him, "It is a pity to give away such a nice animal." And Alexander said, "The king's helpers do not know how to treat Bucephalus." Then let's see what did the king reply. "Perhaps you can do better than they," said his father. "I know," said Alexander, "that if you allow me to try, I might be able to manage this horse better than anyone else." So the king, King Philip, suggested Alexander that he may be able to manage Bucephalus better than anyone else. And then Alexander replied to his father that given a chance, he might be able to manage this horse better than anyone else. "And what if you fail to do so?" asked Philip. So the king asked Alexander, what if he failed to manage this horse? To which Alexander replied, "I will pay you the price of the horse," said the lad. Lad means a young boy. So when the king asked Alexander, what will he do if he failed to manage the horse? So when King Philip asked Alexander, his young son, what if he failed to manage this horse? His young son Alexander replied that Alexander will pay the king the horse's price. While everybody laughed at the young boy's challenge, Alexander ran up to Bucephalus and turned his head towards the sun. He had noticed that the horse was afraid of his own shadow. So Alexander challenged his father about managing Bucephalus himself. So when he made this challenge, everyone laughed at this. But at the same time, Alexander walked up to this horse and turned his head towards the sun. Because Alexander had noticed that the horse is afraid of his own shadow. Let's see what he did next. He then spoke gently to the horse and patted him with his hand. When he had calmed the horse a little, he made a quick spring and leaped upon the horse's back. So what did Alexander do? Alexander walked up to the horse, turned his head towards the sun, and he tried to calm the horse. He spoke gently to the horse and then he patted him on his back with love, showing his care. The horse calmed down and then he sprang and leaped upon the horse's back. Here spring means to jump quickly. So when Bucephalus calmed down, Alexander quickly jumped upon the horse's back. Everybody expected to see the boy killed outright. Yet he kept his place and let the horse run as fast as he would. So everybody expected to see the boy killed outright. Outright means immediately. So when Alexander jumped upon Bucephalus' back and started riding him, everybody thought the horse will immediately kill him. But what happened? The horse started running so fast, and Alexander let him run as fast as he can, but he kept his place on the horse's back. By and by, when Bucephalus had become tired, Alexander reined him in and rode back to the place where his father was standing. So Bucephalus was running as fast as he can, and then after some time he got tired. And when Bucephalus got tired, Alexander reined him in. What do you mean by rein? See? You see this strap here? This strap is used by horse riders to control a horse. So Alexander reined him in means Alexander guided him, pulling on its reins, and then he walked back to the place where his father was standing. All the men who were there shouted in amazement when they saw that the boy had proved himself to be the master of the horse. So everyone was so amazed to see this sight. How Alexander managed to calm down the horse Bucephalus. So Alexander proved himself to be the master of this horse. So everyone shouted in amazement seeing this sight. He jumped to the ground and his father ran and kissed him. So Alexander got off the horse and his father, King Philip, ran to him and kissed his young son. "My son," said the king, "Macedon is too small a place for you. You must seek a larger kingdom that will be worthy of you." So Alexander has proved himself to be a master, a leader. So his father, King Philip, became so proud of his son Alexander. So he acknowledged him for his courage, the ruler of a small kingdom like Macedon. After that, Alexander and Bucephalus were the best of friends. They were said to be always together, for when one of them was seen, the other was sure to be not far away. Interestingly, the horse would never allow anyone to mount him but his master. So after that day, Alexander and Bucephalus became best friends. They became inseparable. And Bucephalus won't let anyone near him except Alexander. Only Alexander could ride him. Alexander became a famous king and a great warrior. He is remembered as Alexander the Great. Bucephalus carried him through many countries and through many fierce battles, and more than once did he save his master's life. Alexander, the young boy, grew up to be a great king and warrior. Although the king of Macedonia for less than 13 years, Alexander changed the course of history. One of the world's greatest military generals, he created a vast empire that stretched from Macedonia to Egypt and from Greece to parts of India. He is remembered as Alexander the Great. It was Bucephalus that carried him to the different countries and helped him fight the fierce battles. And he saved his master's life more than once. And in memory of his beloved horse, Alexander even founded a city and named it Bucephala. So children, I hope you enjoyed the story. The story was taken from 50 famous stories retold by James Baldwin. I suggest you read the story once again. So that's all for today, children. We'll see you in the next class. Till then, bye.